This thing keeps following me. I don't even know what the fuck it is. It's unnerving the hell out of me. It actually started a month ago, come to think of it. I'd be watering the plants in the backyard and I'd hear the bushes rustling as if something scampered across them unseen. I figured it must have been a feral cat or maybe the neighbor's dog, Bozo, who likes to visit me and crawls through the hole under my fence. Damn it. I should have known it sooner. See, I sleep in my bedroom on the ground floor of my house. Across from me is the stairway leading up to the kitchen. To my right is the entrance to the bathroom on the far wall, and finally, to my left is the living room, where there's a clear view of the backyard from a sliding glass door. And every night, just like everyone else I know, I walk across my bedroom to the bathroom to brush my teeth and maybe take a leak. I've noticed recently as I cross the hall at night, and I look into the backyard and I see a black figure in the pale moonlight scurrying across the edge of the pool and into the plants. I'd shake it off, lying to myself it was just some animal. But this thing was like 3, maybe 4 feet tall. I didn't know any animal around that height, even for Bozo, who'd be barking off his fucking head every single night. Last week, however, I got my first look at it. See, it's been getting very foggy at night around here. You know, like the kind that prevents you from looking down the street and basically swallows your house. Well, that kind. I couldn't see a thing in my backyard past the plant next to the sliding glass door. Everything was normal when I went into the bathroom, but when I came out, I froze. It was just behind the glass door, looking at me. I mean, at first I wasn't really frightened. I thought it was a cat. And I noticed the color of its skin, and I thought it was some naked, crazy man. But it wasn't until I looked at its face that I realized it wasn't even human. The mouth just hung there, gaping unnaturally far. And where its eyes should have been were hollow pits. And the moment I had studied its face, it scampered into the darkness and faded into the fog, knocking over the potted plant next to it. I stood there, motionless, for a couple of minutes, debating to myself what I just saw. The next couple of nights went by okay. I would nervously look outside the bathroom before crossing the hallway, though, just in case it appeared to me again the same way. But then, one day, my neighbor, Rick, came out and told me Bozo was killed. When I asked how, he said that some maniac must have come by and began eating his dog. Because the police found human bite marks on him. I told him I concluded the same thing. Because there are some pretty fucked up people in this neighborhood. Drug addicts mostly. But in the back of my mind, somehow, I knew better. And the worst came that night when I was brushing my teeth. I was peering closely at the mirror when I heard what sounded like footsteps thumping down the stairs. I paused cautiously, assessing the danger. But after convincing myself I was safe from the thing outside, I continued brushing. Well, maybe it's something that fell. I lied to myself. Then I heard the unmistakable slap of feet on the cold tile floor in the hallway. I nervously gazed into the mirror's reflection to see who was approaching down the hall, and I froze solid. I dropped my toothbrush, jaw dropped, when the source of the sound came to a stop and stared back at me in the reflection of the dark hallway through empty eye sockets. It just stood there, looking at my terrified self, now petrified with fear. It made absolutely no sound, even though its mouth hung wide open and its hair was extremely stringy and wild. And for what seemed like forever, neither one of us moved. My mind just kept trying to rationalize what it was seeing, but to no avail. My body wanted to scream and run, but it did not obey my commands. And suddenly, it began to walk forward, and it stopped dead in front of the bathroom door. I panicked, and I slammed the door in its face, and I locked it. I don't know why I locked it, as, well, it had no arms, just 2 legs and a head. I spent the next 15 minutes trying to figure out how to get myself out of this trap I put myself in. I unlocked the door and peeked out. It was still standing there, motionless. Eyeless voids fixed on the door. I started to close it slowly, but then an idea flashed into my head. I grabbed a towel and I flung the door open. I then tossed the towel over its head and I kicked it, sending it stumbling into the wall limp. I didn't waste time, and I ran into the bedroom and I slammed the door shut. But just as I turned from the door, I was shocked to see it standing in the middle of my dark room. It began barking like a dog, continuing to stare at me with its black eye holes. The bark could only be that of Rick's dog, Bozo. I opened the door again and I looked into the hallway, and all that remained was a towel on the floor. It's just impossible. Now, it follows me everywhere around the house. It won't even let me go outside, save for the backyard. Oh, and the fog stays clear into the day, just so you know. Every time I try to escape it, it reappears. I try calling Rick, but the line's dead. I've even tried killing it by picking it up and tossing it into the oven. Just after I've closed it inside, I turn around to find it barking at me. It barks at me every time I try to get rid of it. I'd shoot the damn thing, but it appears in front of the shotgun every time I'm by it. Hell, I even stabbed the living shit out of it, and it just took it and bit my leg. It just doesn't go away. It just watches me, whether I'm eating, taking a shower, sleeping, whatever. I can't even brush my teeth without it standing there. watching me. Even as I type this, as I sit here, it's standing right next to me. Eye level, staring straight at me. Help.